recall this a second. One of the resources that we put together was I did some stuff on mindset, and little did I know how this would probably be most welcome at this particularly difficult time. So these resources are all available. They're going to be available. They're available on the portal. There are about 10 of them, and this is one in particular was all about mindset. And I'm going to do a little presentation, and we're going to look at showing you where to source these activities. And then I just want to talk through a little challenge, because it is really exciting today, because they've allowed us and all of us to play with this remote sign up. And I don't know if you've had a go at it yet, but it's what I love about it is simple. You don't have to use Zoom. You haven't got to train your prospect into using Zoom. It can be done very, very simply with a mobile phone and then with a computer. And we're going to talk about how maybe we could sort of turn any of those challenges we have in terms of getting support going when you're helping someone on a remote sign up. So let's get started. I will just see if we've got a few more people coming onto the call as well. Sam is on the call. Natalie's joined us. A few more. Sarah Johnson is joined us. Welcome, Sarah. Sarah's just had a challenge of completing her extension, her kitchen extension, and I believe they've all finished now, Sarah. I think you're in there just cleaning up the mess that's been left behind. So I'm going to share my screen with you. One second while I grab this. And where are we going to go? We're going to go into, let me just get this slide right here. And I just want to make sure we've got the right one live. So now this is me trying to get technology to work here. Hang on, just stop the share. Let me get that share going again. Get the right screen up. Can everyone see that? Thumbs up. Are you all there? Great. So mindset. One of the greatest sportsmen of all time said, what you're thinking is what you're becoming. And again, you know, I don't have to emphasize that what we focus on, we look for more of. We can start telling ourselves different messages. You know, whether you think you can or you can't, you're probably right. So be careful what you're allowing to enter into your mind. And a lot of us at the moment are being bombarded. We're being bombarded with conspiracy theories. We've been bombarded with negativity, with hype. We've been bombarded with anxiety, and it's quite natural. People are scared at the moment. So as we go through this, you know, looking at ways in which we can control what we actually let into our heads. I see Keith Jefferson has just joined us as well. Welcome, Keith. You know, our mind is probably one of the most amazing things ever created. It's an amazing computer, and it's got unlimited capacity. There is so much information going into it. And ladies there, can you believe this? 70,000 thoughts a day are going through a man's head. I'm sure you're dealing with a lot more than that. But even a guy cannot process 70,000 thoughts. The brain filters them off. It gets rid of stuff. And it starts to only focus on the things that you're focusing on. So I think one of the dangers at the moment is that, you know, some of us have got all this time, we're at home and we're watching bulletin after bulletin of the news and all that information coming in. And therefore, everything that we now look for is relating to what we're focusing. So we go onto social media and we're looking for all the negative stuff that backs up what we're seeing on the news. And I think we have to be very, very careful about, yes, this is a serious situation. Yes, what they don't tell us that 80% of people will only experience mild symptoms of what is currently out there with this virus. But there are serious cases where people are going to be suffering a lot more. And how much of this information you keep taking in will depend on what your brain will filter through to find you more of. So I think we need to limit some of the stuff we're letting in. Here's an interesting slide. Talking about negativity and positivity. Two salesmen end up going to South Africa, and they are shoe salesmen. And when they arrive, this is what they see. And these are the two texts they send home. No one here wears shoes, there's no potential. Or everyone here is barefoot, there's infinite potential. Now, I don't know about you, but some people will see the fact that we cannot now go out and do appointments. We're tied to our homes. We've got children running around. We're trying to school. And incidentally, I don't know of any parents there with children. I hope they're all tucked up in bed now. But I think this is probably the first time that parents realise that, the teacher wasn't the problem. I don't know if you've tried schooling all day today or this week. But be careful, be careful, look for possibilities. And I think in terms of looking for possibilities, this remote sign up is going to allow us to, from the comfort of our homes, to share this business with someone. Very, very simply. The fact is, when you call them, 90% of people are going to be home. So, they're going to be there to take your call. They're not in work. They're going to be home to take your call. And they're going to feel comfortable that you're not coming to their home as well. So the mind is very powerful. It's a chemical producing factory, basically. And depending what's passing through it, what we're focusing on, depends on the type of chemicals it's producing. Meet the happy chemicals, because I don't know about you, if you've met, has anyone met Joe Wick on TV at 9 o'clock? If you are, I hope you're in your PE kit, because he's now doing PE sessions with The Nation. And when you've done a session with him, it's really weird, but your brain gets to work and it starts producing happy chemicals. So serotonin is released, endorphins are released into the system, and you feel good afterwards. So looking at your day and how you're planning your day, I think you need to be very, very careful in terms of making sure that you're making use of the day, and start getting in activities here with the family, with the children, that are going to start producing happy chemicals, and getting you in a more of a positive mindset. This is quite an interesting one. It's people believing what can be done and what can't be done. They all thought that the 4-minute mile could not be done. In fact, Roger Bannister was a medical student as well. They thought actually that your lungs would burst, or that the blood just would not be able to deliver enough oxygen to the legs, and that you would collapse with exhaustion. But we know that on the 6th of May 1954, Iffley Road in Oxford, that Bannister broke the 4-minute barrier for the mile. And what's interesting in these figures here, because they didn't move much from 1900, 4 minutes, 12 seconds. It took 54 years to get it to under 3:59. And then within 2 years, it was broken 43 times. So what happened there, guys? Today, over 20,000 people have done it. The simple thing, they believed they could do it. Now, there'll be a lot of people out there thinking, do you know what? I struggle to sign up customers and partners when I can go and see them. Doing it remotely is going to be so difficult. So be careful what you tell yourself, because at the moment, all of us are in this same boat. All of us are learning this new skill. And as long as we can believe that we can do these things, we can achieve them. I love this. One of the things I did as a head teacher, sitting with groups of children, reading them stories. This is a cultural thing with the Indians, that the chief would get the youngsters in the tent there, and they would tell stories. They would tell stories to them. And this was a particular story they told was the story of the good wolf and the bad wolf. And and the kids were always wanting to know which one. They get into a fight and they want to know which one wins. And the chief tells them the one that you feed. The one that wins is the one that you feed. And it's like the little voice. You've got two little voices, one on the left, one on the right, and they're all telling you stuff. They're all telling you stuff. And the one you're listening to is the one that will win out. So let's have a little look at self-talk. How many of us have told ourselves, look, you know, I'm not very good at recruiting. I can't do this. Or what about, you know, no one ever listens to me. I mean, I'm telling them about this wonderful company and about how, and no one just seems to listen. They don't take me seriously. Or nothing ever good happens to me. The ultimate, isn't it? You know, it's okay for Keith Jefferson. He's the lucky one. You know, nothing ever good happens to me. Or what about just switching that a little bit? You know, I can do this. I haven't done much of it, but I can get better at it. I can practice this. Interesting, this thing about listening, you know, listen, if you take the word listen and rearrange the letters, they actually spell silent. So when you know, if people aren't listening to you, just have a little think, are you listening to them? Are you allowing them to tell you about them? Are you generating questions where they can respond and feel that you are showing an interest in them? And I love this because the more of this stuff you do, the luckier you're going to get. So the more you put into practice the things you're not good at, the luckier you're going to get. So this is positive self-talk. Now, I don't know about you. This is, I'm going to stop this share because this is incredible. David Blaine, we saw David Blaine with a company in Las Vegas. So we went to see one of his shows. And what an incredible guy. He has total belief in himself. You know, I was chatting the other day to another team member. They were talking about Nelson Mandela. You know, Mandela had total belief in what he stood for. You know, this guy was locked away for years, and he had belief that he could overthrow apartheid. That guy not only overthrew apartheid, but became the president, didn't he? He became, you know, he was responsible for the country. What a turnaround that was! Can you imagine being in a cell and believing that you could change it? And I tell you guys, nothing is impossible. This situation we're in at the moment may seem dire to us, but with a bigger picture, okay, it's going to allow us to learn a lot of lessons. It's going to allow us to grow stronger, and it's going to give us fantastic opportunities as well when we can emerge from this. But also, and looking at ways in which we can make the most of this situation that we're in. Now, I'm going to try and stop this share, and this is well worth a watch. If you are, if you're a little bit squeamish, let me just click on that one and reshare this with you. I think that's the one. I'm not sure. Yeah, I've got it here, and I'm going to play this.
Famous, but how many have died that we know of? That we know of in the neighborhood of 20. The latest guy who died was a guy named Zamba Powers. That was his stage name. It was an African magician that traveled around. He was in Ghana just last June. He hands a rifle. The guy kills him. The guy throws the gun down and runs away. They never found the gun. We're going to get used to holding the cup in my hand so I could feel the impact that I have to deal with. If my arm even flinches just a bit, one of my fingers will come right off. So if there's any discrepancies, we won't do it. Sharing shots, if you're not directly involved with this, get everyone inside the shooting post. I think it's just as nerve-wracking shooting with fingers. You got a lot less room for error there, man. You have such a small target. I can't see through the scope. I just got to say this. Do you need to do this? I think it's good for a comfort. I think it's good for a comfort. All right. All right, hold still, David.
David, are you ready? Bill, are you ready?
Ready.
David, are you still ready? Proceed.
Should we do a shot? I'm ready. Let's just do it. All ready? Yeah. Patrick, all good? Brash, you're good? Talbot, you're good? Ramirez, my man right here, you're good? You got full tape, you have full stock, full battery, the whole thing? Anybody has a bad feeling, just say cut. Something's off, something's not right. Bill, we want to read anything, just... A little bit down. A little bit. Okay. A little bit right. A little further. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Now up just slightly. Just a little bit. A little bit up. A little bit, no. A little down. A little down. A little left. Too much. Okay. All right. Ready?
David, are you ready? Bill, are you ready?
Ready.
David, are you still ready? Proceed.
So that totally blew me away first time I saw it. Do remote appointments sound so difficult after all now? Because that guy had total belief in himself. He had total belief in his team. And he practiced that, not particularly that particular stage, but they practiced leading up to that over and over again. So ultimately, you know, obviously, David Blaine could not make a mistake there. It's never been done before to catch a bullet in your teeth. I mean, it's still I've watched that so many times, and I keep thinking, you know what we have to do in terms of push our businesses forward, or to step out of our comfort zones, you know, compared to what other people have to do. It just puts things into context. That's not to say it's scary when you're going to make your first remote appointment. What I've been looking at is ways in which we can support people who are going out to do their first remote appointments. And I don't know about you guys, but if you've practiced it yet, any hands up? Can I just see? Let's get a whole group picture here. Anyone practiced it yet? Anyone? One or two of you? No? I don't know if Gemma Doyle is there, is in there. Gemma, I'm just going to unmute you there. We practiced this today. Not what we did, but the actual appointment itself. Maybe just share a few things that we picked up running through it. You're unmuted, Gem.
Well, it is very well. It's exactly the same as you being there with them. You can see the information that they input in on the screen. You know, I think once we've got past the challenge in our mind, which is thinking about it, I think this type of thing, you just need to get into practice mode and practice. And yep. I think once you've done it a couple of times, it's just, you know, we know exactly what links we need to send out and what buttons we need to press. So, you know, I think what we did today, Derek, was great. You know, we buddy up as a team and do a couple of run-throughs before we go off and practice it properly, you know, do it properly with someone. Then that
so where do you get the information for this, Gemma? What's been prepared?
So there's a PDF document that Derek shared on all the WhatsApp groups, just print it off, and this is a simple step-by-step instruction on what to do, what links to use, which ones to send to the customer, and which ones to use for yourself. Yeah, it's foolproof. You can't go wrong.
Now, interestingly, you know, one of the challenges that we had, now this is just, let's bring this back into context. If I could share this screen a second with you, I'm just gonna, there we are. Steve Doyle would love to know how to mute Gemma Doyle, and I've just done it, so. Let me just share this little bit with you here, and I think that there's the mindset. So this is a fit, we shared this, I don't know if you can see that there. This is the sheet that came with this presentation I'm doing today. What I'm doing here, we're looking at ways of supporting people on remote appointments. But you could use this activity for your own team. This is on the portal now, where you could be looking at different things, you know, how to overcome challenges of whatever your team have challenges with. So this is all about, you know, maintain a great mindset. The aim of this activity is to encourage you and your teams to see challenges and opportunity for growth and team collaboration. Your team will then be able to train the same training activity within their team. It's an activity you can use in a team training. And what I did actually suggest that they show the slides that I've done there, and then I gave them some scenarios that they could deal with. You could give that to, you know, if you've got, you know, 8 people there, 2 doing each of the scenarios, and come back with a solution and see then if they could then present back to the group. Now, one of the things that I have been, I'll just stop that share a second. One of the things I have been asking the groups is how best we can support. Now, the challenge is we're not going to be paid for supporting, unfortunately, by remote. And that's something that maybe they'll look at in the future. But, you know, before supportive appointments came along, the fastest growing teams were those who were actually going out there supporting new IDs anyway. So I think key, supporting people to get them going, to get them in front of their warm list, and you helping them with that. Now, the challenge we have is that I was looking at this, trying to get my mobile here and trying to merge calls to get two-way calling so that we can then talk a client on a computer screen of which boxes to click in. And that can be quite challenging if you're not sort of too au fait with two-way calling. And then we've got teams just trialing out using something that we all use, WhatsApp. Most people here, if we can just have put a show of hands here. We've got 2 pages for you. Put your hands up if you can use WhatsApp. Okay, most of you. And if you haven't, then it's worth having a little look. And what people don't realise is if I share this screen here again, and this is something we did today, is that I had a call here. If you go to WhatsApp and you click on the chat or the person you're chatting to, at the top here you'll see a little video. And if you click that video, they come up onto the phone. They'll be split into 2. That person or you could then add another person via the video. So this was Adrian and Chantel we added in. And then we had a 3-way call going on the mobile where we could see each other. So say, for instance, Adrian now was looking to do a remote presentation to Chantel. I could be on that call supporting him. I could be actually even delivering the presentation aspect that he's showing her. And then he can then take her through just the online sign up. And then I can be supporting that. Now, we've done this a few times with people. And I see Seamus smiling there because even Seamus did that. And he's actually preempted what I'm doing there. But if you're not using your mobile now, what I was going to suggest is try and get at least a two-way call going where you've got 3 people on the call. Have a go now. You might interrupt someone else's call, I don't know. But just pick up your phone, a team member who may not be on this call, and see if you can get, and then hold up on the screen, your 3-way call. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to just come out of that there, and I'm going to leave the stop share and just see whether people live there can bring 1 or 2 people up onto the call. And so we've got a few people actually only sharing with us pictures of themselves. Probably they're all tucked up, ready for bed in their jimmies, ready to grab some much needed sleep. So anyone here has got a couple of people on their call? Seamus, can you hold that right? Actually, I'll bring you on, Seamus Sullivan. Hang on. Let's see if we can unmute you and bring you forward. Hang on, I'll get the speaker view and then bring you in. So there we are. Who have you got in the calls?
I've got Rich Williams and Keith Jefferson.
Hi, Keith. Okay. So how hard do you think this would be to use to support a remote appointment?
Oh, very, very, very hard.
So here's a challenge, guys. Okay, that's WhatsApp. Stop the call and try it now using Messenger instead. Just give you a few moments there to see whether you could do it using Messenger. 3 people on the call. It is virtually the same system.
I've never done Messenger before.
And the fact is that you've never done it before, knowing it can be done, it's simple to do. That's the, I've got someone with their hand raised a minute. I'm going to see who that is. Sarah. Sarah Johnson. I'm going to try and unmute you. You've got your hand raised. 1 second.
Rich, I haven't turned on the camera in settings.
I'm trying to unmute Sarah. Don't seem to be able to do that. It's not letting me unmute you, Sarah. So.
It is now.
Oh, here you go. So Sarah, have you tried this yet?
Yes, I've had some great fun with this. It's really good.
Okay. There's Sarah Johnson, senior group leader Sarah Johnson, who is been a fantastic support to her group.
There's one little thing I found out today, which is really interesting. When you're doing it, at the bottom of the screen, when you're sharing it for a sign up, there's a red dot which would end the procedure. But if you go to the little bit next to it, you can actually take the mouse off your guest and fill in all the form all the way through. So if perhaps you're doing it with somebody elderly and they think, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, you can actually fill out the form for them.
So we're talking about the remote appointment now.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So you can show somebody how to do that. But actually, what I like about this going on, I just remembered that now, with the 3-way thing, it's fantastic because you've got your computer, you've got the phone next to it, and you're just running through it seamlessly. It's absolutely fantastic. So
It is amazing.
A fast start plan with perhaps a newbie, but they've been sponsored by somebody who's only a QD as well. You can actually do it like a 3-way call between you.
Yeah.
And run through it all together. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it.
So I would recommend, Sarah, as Gemma and I talked about earlier, just get on and practice it, okay, and embrace it. Have fun with it. Don't worry about making mistakes.
You can do 4 people if you need to.
Okay.
But 3 is fine.
Okay. I've got someone else with their hand up a minute. Let me just unmute this one. Jonathan's iPad. Jonathan's iPad, are you there? Are you there, Jonathan? Well, you had your hand up, okay, so you had your chance. Okay, thanks for that, Sarah. Just let's have a see who else is on the call here. Now we have. Let's have a look who else has been using this. we've got Danielle is there. Danielle Williams. I'm going to unmute you a second because are you able to join us? Not sure if that's unmuted, Danielle.
Hello.
Hi, Danielle.
Hiya.
How's the lambing been going?
Busy. I'm just in the house now. I'm going to go back out in an hour.
Fantastic. I know that you've got an interesting story because you know, periods like this, you've even signed up customers sitting on a bale of hay, chasing farmers who said they were going to give you some time and haven't. Tell us that story. I love it.
Yeah, last year it was lambing time in March, and yeah, farmer basically was like, oh, you know, I ain't got no time to see you right now, and yeah, well, I said, you know, I'll come to you, and yeah, I done it in the lambing shed, and yeah, sitting on a bale of hay basically, and I had a hotspot off my phone to be able to sign him up.
Fantastic. Well, look, good luck with the lambing, and so if this system, have you tried it yet, Danielle? Have you had a chance yet?
No, I did have a practice, but the remote sign up I hadn't gone live at that point.
Right. Okay.
But I did have a go with over the phone with Emma, so we've had a little practice together a couple of times.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, brilliant. Well, look, guys, it's I don't know how long we've been on this for, but if there's anyone with any particular questions or any concerns about this sort of remote appointment stuff, if you want to make yourselves known, I can see if we can bring you in, or if anyone's used it. Has anyone actually signed someone up with it yet? Let's see if we can get the view there. Anyone signed anyone up with it yet? Oh, Julie, right, let's unmute this young lady here. Julie, hang on. I'm going to bring you on, Julie, into the speaker view. Fire away.
Yeah, so last night I was supporting a new ID and we signed someone up we did it actually on it sounds really unprofessional, on the House Party app. Have you heard of the House Party app?
No, I haven't. No,
you can have as many in the conversation, but you just have to make sure you lock the room, because otherwise you have other people sort of appear in the in the group. But yeah, it worked perfectly because the person could see us both, and we just spoke through it, and it really was so smooth. It's brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. And someone you've got two young children. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is Mum managing with the homeschooling bit?
Yeah, it's working well. It is working well, and with doing this business, it's lovely that you can just slot in some time in your day just to fit it in. So yeah, things at the moment are working well, but week one, ask me in another few.
Yeah, absolutely. And so a tool like this, so if you think about mums who may be on maternity or mums who don't want to go back to work, or even dads who don't want to go back to work, how useful is this tool going to be, do you think, for yourself and people like that?
Brilliant. I think it's just a new way of learning. Once we've learned and get our confidence in it, it's just brilliant. It's an extra tool to use, which is just so convenient for all of us. It's just made things so much easier.
Yeah, amazing. And how long, Julie, just share with us, how long have you been in the business?
I joined last February.
Last February, so just over a year. Yeah. And how's it going?
Brilliant. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. It's saved me. It's been brilliant.
Nearly senior team leader as well, yeah? Getting close to senior team leader?
Yes, yeah, nearly.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that with us, Julie. I'm just going to see if I can just come back to the main screen there. So, yeah, I hope you found that useful. These resources I'm going to make available in our UW Life Choices group. And any recent links we want from the magazine, from the sign up, from the activities we can do, so they're all in one place there. And please, if there's any other things that you would like to sort of look at and work at as a team, let's see if we can put some sort of skill sessions together, and you know, together we can get really good at this, and we can still build our businesses and from the safety of our homes as well. The last thing I was going to mention, whatever you're doing, I still thoroughly recommend this. I don't even see my diary is still being planned, whether it's doing exercise, whether it's cooking, whether it's doing team stuff, and and people to call and people to chat to. Plan your day ahead. Don't let it slip away, and make use of this time. Make use of this time to really focus on the things that are important to you. So thank you all for joining, and as I said, we'll keep a copy of this video as well. So if you want to make this available to others, I'll see if I can get this get a link for this video as well. Take care, everyone.